Sup, you beautiful bastards? Hope you're having a fantastic Monday. Welcome back to the DeFranco Show, and let's just jump into it. And the first thing we're going to talk about today, just to get it out of the way, a lot of people have been messaging me because they've been very concerned, and that is people sending me examples of DO5 fans seemingly making threats against me. If you don't remember, a little while back we talked about Mike Martin, DO5 on YouTube. They had prank videos on YouTube that some people saw as child abuse, mainly because in the videos you had examples of screaming and seemingly emotional abuse and kids getting knocked around and hit. And honestly, the story is too large to recap. I'll include links down below if you don't know what I'm talking about. The reason I'm talking about this today is not because of Mike Martin specifically, but because of their fans. There is a closed to the public DO5 Facebook fan page. In the past, it was promoted by Mike Martin on Twitter, where he said, if you got a Facebook, go join this awesome fan group. It's by fans, for fans, and most of all, for fans only. And some people, like Nerd City on YouTube, gained access to it and saw a lot of what was going on. There were a lot of Mike Martin apologists. You had examples of people saying that they were going to call child services on me. And also, this was a new one.
I think DeFranco should be taken down once and for all by us DO5 fans. We're gonna take DeFranco down. DeFranco, I got news for you, buddy. I hate you. DO5, I mean, I don't know if you're looking, but you're a cool man.
He has cuss words in his words.
And he likes to take out all YouTubers that we all like.
Every time he starts a video, he starts with damn beautiful people.
That man right there is the reason why when I go to public events like the VidCon coming up, I always have armed security with me. And to the people sending me this, concerned about my safety, thank you, but yes, I am also aware of it. Also, I do need to point out that this is one of the lightest examples of a threat. I've gotten far worse specific ones before. This guy is just one example of what I have to deal with in general, because what I do on this show will make a lot of people angry. If you've watched the show for a while, you know I take shots at people on the left, the right, and just in general, people I find to be shitty people, and there are a lot of examples of that. There are a lot of people that would love if I didn't do what I do, and that's even more of a reason of why I have to continue doing it. Unfortunately, at this point, it's just part of the job. And actually, kind of connected to this story, let's talk about the big YouTube announcement today. It had to do with extremism and free speech. On Google's official blog, Kent Walker, general counsel to Google, wrote an op-ed. It's titled, 4 Steps We're Taking Today to Fight Terrorism Online. And this appears to be the latest update and response to the adpocalypse. For those new here, over the past few months, there have been a lot of people, including many advertisers, not happy about where their ads were appearing. These advertisers complaining that their ads were being put up against extremist content, hateful content. There was a boycott. YouTube said we're going to do better. They put through changes. We've talked about it in the past. And now, in addition to all of that, we have these 4 steps. 3 most likely won't pertain to most content, and 1, well, we're going to have to see. Well, let's talk about the 3 first. They say, first, we are increasing our use of technology to help identify extremist and terrorism-related videos. This can be challenging. A video of a terrorist attack may be informative news reporting if broadcast by the BBC, or glorification of violence if uploaded in a different context by a different user. We have used video analysis models to find and assess more than 50% of the terrorism-related content we have removed over the past 6 months. We will now devote more engineering resources to apply our most advanced machine learning research to train new, quote, content classifiers to help us more quickly identify and remove extremist and terrorism-related content. Second, because technology alone is not a silver bullet, we will greatly increase the number of independent experts in YouTube's trusted flagger program. Machines can help identify problematic videos, but human experts still play a role in nuanced decisions about the line between violent propaganda and religious or newsworthy speech. While many user flags can be inaccurate, trusted flagger reports are accurate over 90% of the time and help us scale our efforts. Also, YouTube will expand its role in counter-radicalization efforts. We are working to implement the redirect method more broadly across Europe. This promising approach harnesses the power of targeted online advertising to reach potential ISIS recruits and redirects them towards anti-terrorist videos that can change their minds about joining. In previous deployments of this system, potential recruits have clicked through on the ads at an unusually high rate and watched over 500,000 minutes of video content that debunks terrorist recruiting messages. And so those are 3 big swings at combating terrorism and extremism. But there is also a 4th point that many are concerned about. We've talked about in the past where videos like mine, where we're talking about big world events, they're not seen as advertiser friendly. Sometimes we're age gated. You have people saying that, you know, we were on trending, but then we were taken off. And obviously, as YouTube's pointed out, they're trying to always make sure that they're hitting the right videos. They're working on it. Well, Google wrote, we will be taking a tougher stance on videos that do not clearly violate our policies. For example, videos that contain inflammatory religious or supremacist content. In future, these will appear behind an interstitial warning and they will not be monetized, recommended, or eligible for comments or user endorsements. That means that these videos will have less engagement and be harder to find. We think this strikes the right balance between free expression and access to information without promoting extremely offensive viewpoints. And so as expected, you have a lot of people saying, okay, well, where is the line? And I feel like it's a justified concern considering YouTube's past as far as what videos they hit. In their examples, they talk about supremacists, which of course makes you think of a white supremacist doing a rally video. Yeah. Fuck the white supremacists. But based off of conversations I had with people from YouTube, it also sounded like it was going to go towards any kind of attack. And so it turns into the question of, well, what is an attack? If I'm making a point against a prominent Twitter troll that declares that they're an anti-racism advocate, but all they do is spout bigoted bullshit, if I say I think that you're a stupid fucking race baiter, is that all of a sudden an attack? Also, if you have a commentary channel and you're talking about white supremacists and their arguments and how they're wrong, are you going to be included in that? Will you get dinged and have everything stripped from your videos because technically your video contains that content even though you don't agree with it and maybe you're arguing against it? And right now, I think the unfortunate truth is we don't know. And there's two reasons for that. The first being that, well, YouTube does not want to actively link out to a video they have done this to, because the video that they've pointed to, they're actively going through the efforts to make sure it is not promoted, and by showing an example, they would be promoting it. And the second is, I honestly don't believe that YouTube knows where the okay line is. They know where the extreme line is, then at what point do you get to the gray and hazy? So I think that's why they also provide some of the most extreme examples of the content they don't want to support, and they're vague about the lesser types of content. And I think ultimately it's a wait and see situation. We have to see, now that this is being implemented, what people are going to be dinged. And the question I want to pass off to you with this story is, are you happy about this or are you worried? Do you trust YouTube? Are you worried about it? From there, I want to share some stuff I love today in awesome. And the first bit of awesome I have to share is from the Dodo. I feel like there are a lot of people that maybe the world is weighing you down, you need some hope, so I had to share this around 10-minute video from the Dodo called Best Animal Dads of All Time Father's Day Compilation. So it makes you feel good. It's from an animal channel that focuses on animal welfare. If that's up your alley, check it out, subscribe. Then we got a video from Mike Toomey who showed the Amazon Echo if instead of Alexa, you got Alex Jones.
Alexa, how tall is Mount Everest?
Look it up for yourself. I mean, this is what do you think tap water is? It's a gay bomb, baby.
I have to say, as much of a wacko that I think Alex Jones is, I love his voice. Sometimes just to make myself laugh, I'll say crazy random shit in his voice. All you gotta do is sound like a man that doesn't want to admit that he has emphysema and go to the doctor. And then just say things like the smoke monster from Lost is obvious propaganda from the alien leprechauns sent down here to promote their globalist lizard people agenda so that the little children that play in the Pokemon, they don't want you to know that the same people that made Pokemon faked the moon landing. We won't even go into Pokemon. That's just a liberal Black Lives Matter bullshit killing white people agenda. I got the documents right here. I didn't want to believe it, people, but the truth is the truth. I probably didn't even sound anything like him, but it was just still so much fun for me. Then the slow-mo guys put out a new video where I thought someone was gonna die for a second. Luckily, spoiler alert, no one died, but they did have to blur out a dick. And if you want to see the full versions of everything I just shared, the secret link of the day, anything at all, links as always are in the description down below. And then let's talk about that production of Julius Caesar by Shakespeare in the Park. This, of course, was a huge story last week, a lot of people arguing about it. The play features a very Trump-like character as Julius Caesar. He, of course, gets stabbed multiple times. He dies. There are many Trump supporters who called this murder porn, that it was inciting more violence. Many for the production were saying you're missing the point of Julius Caesar, that it's actually anti-violence. Also, people pointed out that in the past there was also another production of Julius Caesar which featured an Obama-like character who was stabbed and killed. And I thought for the most part by the end of the week the story was over, but I was wrong. Friday night, a journalist for The Rebel by the name of Laura Loomer stormed the stage.
This is violence against the race. This is violence against Donald Trump. Violence against Donald Trump. Shame, shame on the New York City Public Theater for doing this.
Let's go.
You guys are ISIS. See it's ISIS. Shame on Kathy Griffin. Shame.
You are all Goebbels! You are all Nazis like Joseph Goebbels! This is Goebbels! You are all Goebbels! You are inciting terrorists! This is the blood of Steve Scalise is on your hands!
Loomer was arrested and charged with disorderly conduct and trespassing. Also, there was a lot of confusion about what happened to the play. I imagine it's because the other guy that was filming, Jack Posobiec, with his video he tweeted, "Breaking, Julius Caesar gets shut down." So a lot of people thought the whole play got canceled, but no, it was just, they stopped the show temporarily. According to a statement from the public theater, 2 protesters disrupted our show tonight. We stopped the show for less than a minute, and our stage manager handled it beautifully. The staff removed the protesters peacefully, and the show resumed with the line, "Liberty, freedom." The audience rose to their feet to thank the actors, and we joyfully continued. Free speech for all, but let's not stop the show. And this also wasn't the end of the interruptions this play would get. On its final night on Sunday, there were 2 other people that stormed the stage. And then what was really interesting to me is after all of this, there seemed to be a lot of infighting among conservatives, or people that you wouldn't think of as liberals. You had Fox News host Sean Hannity sharing these videos with captions like, "Are Democrats happy? They started the quote resistance, no?" Then Hannity promoted a video where there were protesters shouting, "Liberal hate kills."
Liberal hate kills!
And in walks in editor-in-chief for the Daily Caller, Ben Shapiro, calling out what he thinks is hypocrisy. Tweeting, "The left chants conservative hate kills and you call them snowflakes. Which is right. Stop with this stupidity." Hannity responds, "Ben, the only person being stupid here is you. I was tweeting, quote, exactly what was said with video. I'm mature enough to let people decide. Now, if there was a play that killed an Obama lookalike every night and people protested, would you call that stupid? This hate is disgusting." Shapiro says, "And by the way, I blasted the Julius Caesar production. That doesn't mean you get to block others' free speech exercise." Hannity says, "What world are you living in? When did I say to block free speech? Ben, get your facts straight." Shapiro says, "You could help fight escalating snowflakery rather than tactically promoting it. You're better than this." Ben, breaking news, in the tweet, I quoted what was said. "Frankly, it's so vile. I support peaceful protests versus plays killing POTUSes. We're not talking about a protest outside the event. I'd agree with you. We're talking about storming the stage." And as you'd imagine, people from all different backgrounds joined this debate, people backing their guy. And so I wanted to take that argument, kind of take the question around that, and pass it off to you. What are your thoughts here? First, let me know if you supported or hated the idea of a Donald Trump character being stabbed to death in this play. If that was too far, no, you thought it was art and there's a different message there. And secondly, what are your thoughts about these people storming the stage to interrupt the performance? Are the people storming the stage snowflakey, since that is the word that we're using with this story? You support the storming of the stage, the interruption, or no, you think it should have been outside the venue? Also, a little note I wanted to make here, there are a lot of people that are like outraged and shocked that this woman was arrested. But to that, I'd say even the people behind it knew exactly what was going to happen. If you go to if you go to the registration information for freelaura.com, which is where they're trying to raise funds for their legal defense, according to the Who Is information, that website was registered 6 hours before the play even started. The Rebel knew what they were doing and they knew what was going to happen. And that's not a comment on who you should support or not, that's just, you should not be surprised. I mean, the people involved weren't. And then very briefly, let's talk about Carrie Fisher. Carrie, who of course was best known as Princess Leia, or Carrie motherfucking Fisher, died in December of last year when she was 60. And a lot of people have been wondering why. What was the cause of death? Well, last Friday, the LA County Coroner's Office said that she died because of sleep apnea and other undetermined factors. The coroner also pointing out that she suffered from a heart disease and drug use, but no specifics were given at that time. Well, today, the Coroner's Office revealed that Carrie Fisher had cocaine, methadone, ethanol, and opiates in her system when she passed away. But still, the Coroner's Office said they don't know the exact reason, stating, based on the available toxicology information, we cannot establish the significance of the multiple substances that were detected in Miss Fisher's blood and tissue with regard to the cause of death. And the reason for that is while her exposure to cocaine was within the past 72 hours, the other drugs they found traces of or remote exposure. And after this information came out, it sparked a debate of, is it anyone's damn business? People arguing that it's disrespectful to share this information. You had people arguing whether it was disrespectful or not to her or her family that this information was being shared. And personally, I end up standing by the opinion of Carrie Fisher's only child, Billy Lord. Lord addressed the report saying, "My mom battled drug addiction and mental illness her entire life. She ultimately died of it. She was purposely open in all of her work about the social stigma surrounding these diseases. She talked about the shame that torments people and their families confronted by these diseases. I know my mom. She'd want her death to encourage people to be open about their struggles, seek help, fight for government funding for mental health programs. Shame and those social stigmas are the enemies of progress to solutions and ultimately a cure." And that's one of the reasons I decided to cover and share this story, because I hope that there is a lesson that can be learned here. Both for people that struggle with their addiction and they feel shame and they hide it and so they don't get help, but also because hopefully this makes at least one person more open to someone around them that is struggling with this, so that they can see this story that is representative on some level to all of the other stories out there of people struggling that just need someone else. You being there is not going to guarantee success in a battle against addiction, but it helps. Maybe it makes it so that there's a meaningful moving of the needle in the number of people that die with their silence and their shame, and the people that actually get help. So that was my takeaway from it. And then we have to talk about the Finsbury Park van attack in London. Now, the perpetrator of this attack has since been identified. I, of course, will not be showing his name or his face because fuck him. But here's what you need to know about this terrorist attack. A 47-year-old white man drove his van through a crowd of Muslims. Reportedly, a bunch of the soon-to-be victims were helping a man who had collapsed from heat exhaustion. The results of this attack was 1 dead with 10 injured, including 2 disabled. According to eyewitnesses, the attacker was shouting, "I'm going to kill all Muslims, I did my bit." After this man was arrested, he reportedly was smiling, waving, and blowing kisses. Also, if you're wondering how someone can drive their van through a group full of people people, and then the other people who weren't hit, they don't kill the man who did this? Well, that appears to be because of the mosque's imam, who did help subdue this monster. He's seen on film shouting, "Don't hit him, you do not touch him, hand him into the police." Or as he put it, he and his group of brothers helped extinguish the flames of anger. Because I don't want to misrepresent the situation. There were people that chased after him, they were hitting him, but the imam was able to calm them to stop the attacking so the police could get him. That kind of restraint is amazing to me. And as far as the attack itself, Metropolitan Police say that they believe the suspect acted alone. Scotland Yard is treating this attack as a terrorist incident. And I feel like it's important that people understand this is a terrorist attack. We have to call it what it is. There are people that automatically say, well, what about the mental health? Sure, mental health can be involved in any attack. Do you think someone that you would describe as a sane individual would go, you know what I think's a great idea? To take a backpack, fill it with bombs, and then blow it up outside of an Ariana Grande concert. Or I'm just gonna drive my van through a group full of random Muslims. No, but both of these instances are terrorism. And it's important to identify it and talk about it as rationally as possible, because fear and anger, they are far greater motivators than trying to break down a situation and look at them. This is a very real concern and problem. Violence brings on more violence. That's why it's so important that no matter the color of someone's skin, we identify terrorism, we identify evil, and we denounce it. And we don't let the extremists and the fucking crazies on whatever side they are on rule what the rest of us do. These extremists that go out there and kill people, yes, their goal is to maim and to kill, but it's mainly also to destabilize, to break people apart, alienate, separate, and cause further violence. And that's actually where I'm gonna end today's show. And remember, if you liked this video, you like what I do on this channel, hit that like button. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. Also, remember, if you missed the last Philip DeFranco show, you wanna catch up, click or tap right there to watch that. If you wanna see today's brand new behind the scenes vlog, click or tap right there. But that said, of course, as always, my name's Philip DeFranco. You've just been filled in. I love yo faces, and I'll see you tomorrow.